What's good, everybody? It is your boy Chandler here with the first installment of my new kind of series for Fehr the Burn. What's good Wednesdays? Yeah.
I keep running, you keep stunting. I keep fronting the money, but keep nothing. MOE turns me into a puppet, so the people around me.
We here. We doing it. One take, nothing else. Shibuya. All right, so here's what's good Wednesdays is. If you ever see me do stand-up, obviously, you'll know that I start the same set every way by saying where I'm going. Like right now I perform at this place called Union Tap Room in Pocatello, and I say, Union Tap Room, what's good? Or when I was doing comedy out in Boise, it'd be where I'd go, the brewery out there, shout out Mad Swede, what's good? So, Wednesdays, what's good? We are here, and we're queer, and we're ready to smear all of that shit and give you some motherfucking holiday cheer, baby. So here's what's good Wednesdays is going to be. It's going to be me talking just on some bullshit, like these headphones, if you're watching this, aren't even plugged in, right? They just are here to make me look cool. And I have 3 topics I'm going to bring up every single week. They are going to be 3 different categories. We're still going to fall in the same type of thing we're doing with Fehr the Burn, where it's going to be corruption and culture, kind of less Christ on this show. And the show will probably be a little shorter, and it'll usually just be me. And the topics are world, so the world events, what's going on in the world, and I'm only going to do one, but I'm going to talk about it, what I think is the most important thing happening in our world. It's going to be winner, so who's the biggest winner of the week, and it's going to be the worst, like who did the mofone worst out of everybody, as Drake said, on worst behavior. So we'll get into the biggest issue that we see in the world today. Now, it could be the Department of Homeland Security saying that if you are of the LGBTQ variety or the Jewish assortment, that your life and safety are at risk in America right now. It could be that, because that is very important. It could also be Kanye West going off saying that Nazis aren't that bad on Alex Jones' podcast, forcing Alex Jones to be the voice of reason, or more like the deep tuba voice, deep rattling Janis Joplin, just such fat Janis Joplin voice of reason, to Kanye West saying that he loved Hitler. Crazy. But to me, the most important story that I could talk about today is a story that's very near and dear to my heart as a writer, as someone who considers themselves a logophile, which if I'm using that word correctly, is the lover of words. It is the Oxford Dictionary's decision for the 2022 Word of the Year. Now, this is the first year that Oxford has opened up this wonderful, wonderful competition to the public. It is now something that just normal, everyday people can vote on. I don't know how they decided the Word of the Year before. It was probably paid for, as we'll see in some of the words of the years past and things like that. But this is what happens when you open up competitions of esteem and academia, like words of the year for the Oxford Dictionary, right? The 2022 Word of the Year is Goblin Mode. Let me just make sure that I have this correctly, because it is almost the end of 2022, and this is the first time I have heard of the word Goblin Mode, right? Read an article on it. It says, if you are in your room and you look around and you see bags of fast food and drink varieties and things like that. Or you get into your car and it's super messy and it's just nothing, like your car is your trash can. Like you just step into your car and you're in a field, like what are those things called? Not like trash fields. Dumpster fields, dumpster yards, right? Where they just huck trash and only birds live there. If you step into your car and suddenly you are just surrounded by just used condoms and that didn't actually ever go into anybody, and you're just in your car with cigarette butts, you may be already in Goblin Mode, right? Goblin Mode is essentially, actually, I never even looked up what Goblin Mode means, but it just seems like, just like being the worst, dude. Like that seems like, and is that what we've come to in society, where everyone's like, we're done. We just give up. We're just so done. I don't want to do it. Granted, this is me every morning, right? I get it, right? But I have been in Goblin Mode apparently then for longer than just 2022, and I should have made the fucking word Goblin Mode. But the definition of Goblin Mode, goblinmode.com. Goblin Mode. See, and this is the thing too. Goblin Mode is 2 words. It's not 1 word. How are you going to make the Oxford word of the year 2 words? Is it goblin or is it mode? It should be goblin. Goblin up. Yep. Gonna say something so sexual for no reason. Definition. Okay, Goblin Mode. I swear to God if I find this on the Urban Dictionary. It's a type of behavior which is unapologetically self-indulgent, lazy, slovenly, or greedy, typically in a way that rejects social norms or expectations. Yeah, so I've been in Goblin Mode for years. I mean, I guess I'm apologetically lazy. I just don't change. So I'm just a bad person. But I don't know, man. It just got me thinking. So then I looked up the other words of the year. And I saw that I'm just going to go back a couple of years here and just kind of we together can take a look as to what we think of the words of the years and maybe how they've come into being. Looking at, obviously, Goblin Mode, right, of 2022. Then we have 2021, where we see the word vax. Not even vaccination. Not vaccinated. We're making it cool. Vax. V-A, hold on, X. Yup. V-A-X, go and give it to you. Vax. And I wonder why, right? I mean, 2020 is even more, who could have thought of it? It's unprecedented is the word for 2020. But, who could have thought that? Who do we think is going to be supporting the word of the year if it's fucking vax? Right? Like, not even vaccination. Like, not even, making it longer, vaccinated. No. This is a strategic. I never heard one person say vax. I heard vaxed, in a verb type word, but you gonna get the vax? No one said that. That's wrong, right? Like, who are you saying? Who went around was like, oh, I'm gonna get the vax. I'm gonna get the vax. No, it's I'm gonna get the jab. I'm gonna get the shot. I'm gonna get the vaccine. I'm gonna get a microchip put in me. I'm gonna end up being Chinese property. Like, these are the things that we would hear, but I never heard one person go, oh, I'm gonna get the vax. Hang loose, dog. Make sure you get that vax. Nah. 2020, unprecedented. Who would have fucking thought, right? I honestly thought it was just going to be COVID. Like, I just thought it was going to be like COVID. Like, just throw that on everything 2020. Just COVID the fuck out of it. COVID-19. 2019, I have to look this one up because I think it's climate crisis. or it's climate something. 2019 word of the year was climate emergency, right? Because this is the year that the little white girl from fucking Poland or whatever was like, "Oh, we have to save everybody cuz we are going to die from the sun," which very true, but all of a sudden we were like, we need to listen to this 15-year-old. She knows what's going on. It's like, okay, man, you're going to listen to kids sometimes and then you're not going to listen to kids other times. I don't know what we're doing here if you're just playing two sides of the fence, right? It's very sad because she's young and she's talking about her life and her world going down, but then we don't want to listen to kids when they come to us with other problems. Right? Right? I get it. She has autism. You feel bad for her. I get it. You want to be a good person. You can't let that. You have to listen, right? This little white girl from Norway, right, who's neurodivergent, talks to you about the planet, and that's gonna inform you making policy, But everything else, all the abuse, right, all of the negligence, all of undermining everything else, you're just gonna throw it to the side. Doesn't matter. Climate emergency, Greta Vudengazer, whatever your name was, you won. 2018, toxic, right? Britney Spears, of course. So late in the game, should have come out with that in 2018. Would have been a banger. Unfortunately, I don't know. It seems like a lot of people had really rough years in 2018. I can't. I definitely did, in parts of it, for sure. Yeah, I guess 2018 could have been considered a toxic year. 2017, Youthquake. I've never even heard of most of these words. 2016, Post-Truth. What? 2015? It's just the laughing emoji. It's just the crying laughing emoji. That's all it is. 2015's word of the year isn't even a fucking word. It's an emoji, man. This is... What have we descended into? We went from probably great words like locomotive and just rambunctious, to not cock goblin, to goblin mode. Cock goblin is one of my favorite swears. To goblin mode and allow an emoji. Not even a word, man. So that is the biggest news story in the world to me right now for What's Good Wednesdays. Now on to the winner of the week. The winner of the week to me is a man who recently found his freedom again, trying to find my notes. A man who found his freedom again, someone who was welcome home with a hero's welcome at his latest, I think it's a baseball game. No, it had to have been a football game that they were playing. I'm not sure. But a standing ovation was welcomed home with him, and someone who had a lot of support, even when he was locked up for what people believed were wrong decisions made by police, and that is Cain Velasquez, who is an ex-heavyweight champion of the world in the UFC, one of the greatest kind of wrestlers, I would say, the UFC has seen, certainly one of the greatest cardio tanks, gas tanks. Cain would just weather people into deep, deep waters that they were just uncomfortable and unfamiliar with, and he would make you quit. He's a true fighter's fighter, and he was locked up recently, I believe at the beginning of this year, because he had chased down a person who was suspected of sexually assaulting his child with a gun. He chased the person down with a gun and shot them. Didn't kill them, but certainly assaulted them with a deadly weapon and was locked up for that. And he recently was put out. I don't know if he's on probation or parole. But certainly to see the outside world again after trying to take protecting your family in your own hands, and for what a crime that many people would justify in their own lives. Certainly, I never really knew where I stood with it. I mean, if I found out that something like that happened to one of my nieces or nephews, I would probably certainly take similar actions in heats of passion and moments if things were in proximity of me. But I don't own any guns at this time, so I don't know if I could shoot anybody if I had a gun. I mean, I don't I don't want this to go on any background reports in the future if I'm gonna try to get a gun. But I'm just saying, like, to find out that someone has hurt someone in your life so deeply who is a child, who you have either helped raise, are raising, who possibly is your child, I would probably take actions into my own hands pretty quickly as well if things were within proximity. And I understand the police coming in and doing their job and making sure that the law is upheld. That's fair enough. But I am glad that Cain is on the outside. I don't think that he is a violent person. I don't think that he would do this again. I think it was a crime of passion, right? Yeah, man. But so awesome for him to be able to go home to his family, have freedom. Yeah, beautiful thing. And hashtag free Cain. Cain's free. Cain's free. Now, lastly, we covered firstly the world events, the winner of the week, and now we're going to cover the worst of the week, right? This is people who are going to lose. Most people would say take an L. I don't know if I can say take a W because that necessarily means that they're winning, but this is the worst. Again, the Ye thing could be something along these lines, right? Like we could say that Ye could be worst of the week, but I don't think Ye is the worst of the week. And I'm not saying I like Hitler. I'm just being clear about that. I'm not saying that, but I don't think he's the absolute worst of the week. The worst of the week to me this week goes to Balenciaga. I'm sorry. I have to say it. I'm not a Kardashian. I've never worked with Balenciaga. I don't have to cut any ties with them. That's not something I have to be worried about, and that you don't either, right? So we can all talk shit about Balenciaga together, okay? And if you don't know what's going on with Balenciaga deleted their Instagram and sent out an apology for a photo campaign, a campaign that was oddly displayed. And the photos essentially included children who were very young, probably around the age of 2 to 3, maybe not 4 though, dude. Like 1 to 3, like 2 to 3, right? Maybe 4 super young kids, and they were normal clothes, and they had these bears, and they were in like kind of like interesting backgrounds, beds. I want to say, with bears that had on BDSM outfits, like leather straps and whatnot around their bodies. And in front of the children, there were displayed empty bottles and like what looked like wine glasses and things like that. So they obviously got a lot of heat because it clearly looks like you're sexualizing children for your online digital fashion campaign. I really don't even know what Balenciaga is, to be honest. I think that it's a fashion company from what I understand, and it's a fashion company that suits thicker people like myself well. So up until this point, if I was going to get fancy clothes, I probably would have gotten Balenciaga. But not if they are chomos, And so what they've done is they've deleted their social medias because they can't stand the heat from the shit that they want to put out in the world. And then they issued a apology, and they're suing the person who took the photos, like the production manager or whatever the fuck, whoever it is, the photographer. I don't know if it's the photographer or like the production manager or whatever, but they're saying that it was his idea. But here's the thing, man, is in order for that to actually make it out to the public, right, it had to go across a lot of people's desks. I don't think that it's just, the photographer who's just taking the picture, and then there's the project manager, and they're like, yeah, let's just send it out. I think that if you're starting this, then it has to at least go through like 2 to 3 to 4 other like departments or people or whoever. I don't know how many like higher ups are involved. I mean, Balenciaga it's a big company, right? But if this is like a national campaign or whatever, there's no way that they like just didn't not catch it before, and now that they just got the heat that they just decided to take it down. Like, you can say whatever you want. I do think that there is a growing culture of trying to sexualize younger and younger children. And you can say whatever you want about like the trans movement, or drag queens or whatever. I mean, I have some specific opinions on things like that, but for the most part, I really think that people should be allowed to do whatever they want, and that you should have establishments set up that do certain things. And if you know that you want to go to those places and do those things, you can do those things. This is America, baby. You know what I'm saying? And there's a big debate around if the trans movement and community and like drag queen story time hours is opening up sexuality for children at a much younger age than they should probably understand. On the flip side, we do live in a very heteronormative world, so people are like taught from a very young age, like if you're a boy, like, oh, do you have a girlfriend? Or if you're a girl, like, oh, do you have a boyfriend? So I agree that both are wrong. I do think that some stuff is more harmless and more subliminal than others, while other shit is more in your face. And this is just one of the things that you have to look at and go, this is very clearly trying to sexualize children. Right? And that's why it makes it wrong extremely, and why, I mean, I don't call to cancel anybody, right? Because again, if you want to fucking support Balenciaga, like, go ahead and do it. But at the same time, what are they, I was talking with the old co-host there, Cougar, and he said that they have some security tape at Balenciaga with it misspelled, where it's Balenciaga, like Balen, however you spell Siaga, right? And Baal obviously being an old like Egyptian devil god. Who is Baal exactly? I guess we'll close on that, right? Thank you guys for being here for the first What's Good Wednesdays. Again, I'm here with my fake headphones. They don't do anything, but I'm gonna throw this up, and if it starts to get people start to like it or whatever, then I'll do a couple more of them. I'm just planning on doing something just short, midweek. What's good, peeping in, saying what's up. Maybe we'll talk about comedy a little bit here and there when I actually do it. But let me guys hit you with this history real quick, and we will send you out. Baal God. Baal is designated as the god of fertility. Right, so sex is bad. This is why we don't like him. And in that capacity, his title was Prince and Lord of the Earth. So he sounds like Satan. He was also called the Lord of Rain and Dew. Okay. Is he male or female? He's mostly male. Seems like he's pretty male. Are Baal and God. Listen, we're getting too deep into stuff right now. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to get lost in the wormhole of Google. So, thank you guys so much. This is What's Good Wednesdays. It's been like probably, 23-ish minutes, but appreciate y'all, and we'll see you next time. Bye.